So you're very welcome to this short installation tutorial outlining the procedures for installing the IAS software. To start with, we're going to look at the download procedures for Sage Micropay. So in order to download the IAS software, I've logged on to Accounting Technicians Ireland's website, which is accountingtechniciansireland.ie. And what we're going to do is log into the Touchpoint portal. So clicking on Touchpoint, that brings us into the secure login area. So what we want to do now is enter our username and password. And obviously this will be individual to each student. So just enter whatever username and password you've been provided with by the Institute. And when the information has been entered, click on Submit. So a notification has come up about online registration. I'm just going to say register later. And we can now see that we're into the profile for a particular student. So your own profile should look somewhat similar to this page, and what we want to do now is scroll to the bottom of the page. And in the corner of the screen we can see an option for IAS software. Within this section we have a download for Sage 50 accounts as well as for Sage Micropay. Now it is important to note that you can only click on download Sage 50 accounts once. So make sure that you've allocated enough time for downloading this particular piece of software, as once you've clicked on the download link, you won't be able to click on it again. Sage Micropay, however, does afford you a number of attempts. So let's start with Sage Micropay and let's click on download here. So what you can see in the corner of the screen is that Sage Micropay is now downloading. And again, depending on the speed of your browser and your internet connection, this process could take roughly between 5 and 10 minutes. When the download is complete, you'll see the Micropay symbol appear in the corner of your screen. So this just means that the link to the software is now available in the download section of your PC. And what we can do is use this icon here to say either show in folder or open. So if we click open, and this brings us into the options to install Micropay on our PC. So I'm just going to minimize the background screen, and now we can work through the steps of installing Sage Micropay to our PC. So what we want to do on this screen is just accept the terms of the license agreement and click next. I'm going to allow the defaults to happen. So it's just going to install the software to this computer, and I'm going to click next. The typical settings are fine, and as we can see, these are the recommended settings, so we're going to leave that, tick typical, and say next. And that prepares the software for installation. And what you can see in the corner is that the software will add a shortcut to Sage Micropay to the desktop. So that's quite handy, so we'll leave that there, and we're going to click install. And depending on the speed of your PC, the installation process can take a couple of minutes. And after a few minutes you'll be notified that Micropay has been successfully installed. So we can just click finish on this screen, and you should see a shortcut to Micropay Pro 2015 appear on your desktop. And when you double click on this shortcut, again you may be asked to allow the permissions. That's fine, just say yes. And what we want to do now is license this version of Sage Micropay. So click on license now, and once this screen appears we want to click on edit and enter the account number and serial number provided in the course textbook on page 19. So the account number is N10612 and the serial number is MP54124. So once the information is entered, we can click OK. And what you should see then is that the company limit is unlimited and employee limit is also unlimited. So you can click close, and the login window will appear, and you can enter the username admin and a password of pass, and just click OK. And this brings us into the admin options in Sage Micropay. And what we can see is that we've now completed the installation of Sage Micropay on the PC. And now let's examine the procedures for installing Sage 50 accounts. So returning again to the Touchpoint portal and going back to the option for IAS software, we can now choose to download Sage 50 accounts. Again, remember this is a one-time download, so allow enough time to download the software successfully in the first instance. So in order to access the software, what we're going to do is click on the option for Download Sage 50 Accounts. And again, this is just asking us to confirm that we do wish to proceed with this download. So we're going to click on Proceed. And what we can see in the corner is that we now have access to the ATI Sage 50 Accounts folder. Now this is a zipped file. So firstly, what we want to do is open the file. So I'm going to click on this and say Open. And it's important at this point to extract all the files in that folder. You should be able to find an option that says Extract All. Click on that. And what this is going to do for me is extract the files held within this folder. So I'm going to say Extract. And that's going to extract the files for me to the same location. And now we can see a folder for Sage 50 Accounts that is no longer zipped. So double click to open this folder, and what you want to do is find a .exe file or the application file. So I'm going to click on this application file that says Start, double click on this, and this brings up the Sage 50 Accounts window, giving us the option to install the software. So let's click on Install Software to begin the installation process. And you might need to allow permissions. And once you've done so, we're now into the screen for Sage 50 Accounts. So I'm going to accept the terms of the license agreement by clicking on this checkbox, and that's fine. And now I'm going to click Next. Now, as you're doing a new install, you won't need to upgrade or create a new folder, as the location should automatically default. And the program should be stored in the program files 86. So I create a new folder, but essentially all you need to do is allow the defaults to happen. Just keep clicking Next on each of these screens. And finally say Yes, begin installation. As this is the first time we're activating the software, we just need to enter the serial number and activation key as laid out in your course text. So the serial number is V036814 and the activation key can be entered as shown in the textbook, and once you've entered all that information we can click Continue. So that registers our copy of Sage 50 Accounts, and we can say OK, and we can now set up a new company. So using the information from the course textbook, just click Next. We can enter a company name, Happy Pets Limited. For the moment I'm just going to skip the addresses. Now I've defaulted to Great Britain. You most likely will default to Ireland. But if not, just choose from the drop-down menu of country. And I'm just going to skip the information and just click Next here. For the purposes of our syllabus, all companies are limited companies. So selecting that business type, I'm going to click Next. Happy Pets Limited, the case study, has a financial year starting in August 2015. So again, selecting from the drop-down menu, that's fine, and I'm going to click Next. The company is VAT registered, and we can enter the VAT registration number. And the standard rate of VAT for the company is 23%. I'm going to click Next. The currency should default at Euro, and we'll click Next. And that creates the company successfully. Just check the information, check the financial year. It is important to set this up correctly, and once you're happy the information has been entered correctly, click Create. Once we've created the new company, there's no need to customize it, so we can just click Close on this screen. And what we can see then is that we're into the company Happy Pets Limited in Sage 50 Accounts, and our software has been set up successfully.